Naruto, 10 Ways Being a Jinchuriki Ruined Naruto's Life. Each Jinchuriki is powered up by their respective tailed beast, but this role has no doubt made Naruto's life difficult at times. Naruto Uzumaki is the son of the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, and Kushina Uzumaki. Born over a decade before the beginning of the Naruto story, Naruto's birth was marked with lots of tragedies, and in the midst of it all, he ended up becoming the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, a powerful tailed beast of chakra. Although the Nine Tails is a great source of power, having him sealed inside proved to be quite detrimental to Naruto's life in the village and his growth as a ninja in a multitude of ways. 10. He lost his parents because he became a Jinchuriki. Naruto Uzumaki was born on the day the Nine Tails attacked the village. After the beast was extracted from Kushina Uzumaki, Minato decided to die alongside his wife and use what little chakra he had left to split the Nine Tails and seal it in his son. Minato could have lived and raised Naruto had he not been made a Jinchuriki. But because the Hokage thought Naruto would need its power to defeat the masked man, he has to give up his life. 9. Naruto didn't know his family. Being a Jinchuriki affected Naruto's life in drastic ways, and one of them was not knowing who exactly his family was. Although both his parents were dead, Naruto still had a godfather in Jiraiya who he had no clue about. This was primarily because Naruto's identity needed to be kept a secret and also because Jiraiya was hardly ever in the village back then. 8. Naruto had to live alone for most of his life. As the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, Naruto had to be protected by the village and thus his identity had to be kept hidden as much as possible. For this reason, Naruto wasn't given any special attention and had to live alone for most of his life, even as a kid. Although Hiruzen did what he could to watch over him, the hole in his heart couldn't be filled until he finally met his teammates after graduating from the academy. 7. He was always hated by the villagers. Naruto was a target of the villagers' hate and everyone looked down on him because he was the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. To avoid him facing these problems, Hiruzen decided to forbid talking about the Nine Tails and in this way, stop the younger generation from looking at Naruto with disdainful eyes. Unfortunately, the older generation of the village hated him and considered him to be responsible for the tragedy that befell them on the night of the attack. 6. He had no friends as a kid. Although Hiruzen tried his best to keep the young generation from treating Naruto differently, their parents couldn't do the same, which is why Naruto couldn't make many friends as a kid. At times, Choji and Shikamaru acted like his friends, however, the others avoided him and chose to keep their distance. Naruto only truly started making friends later on in the story when he joined Team 7. 5. The Nine Tails affected his chakra control. The Nine Tails, although a great power-up once fully controlled, was a great setback for Naruto when he was a kid. Because his chakra was so great, it often disrupted Naruto's own chakra flow and made him waste more than necessary, making his chakra control quite bad. This was one of the reasons why Naruto struggled with exercises like climbing the tree and others that required precise chakra control and often held him back. 4. He was used as a weapon by the village. The tailed beasts were distributed by Hashirama Senju among the villages to maintain the balance of power. To tame this power, villages kept Jinchuriki and used them as weapons to keep the other nations in check. Naruto Uzumaki was, essentially, a weapon for Konohagakure to be used against other villages. He was hardly even considered human by the elders in the village. 3. Kurama often tried to take over his body. Every time Naruto got angry, Kurama's chakra seeped out of the seal and the 8 trigram seal weakened slowly. Kurama's goal was to weaken the seal to the point where he could simply break free and kill Naruto in the process. Naruto was always being hurt by Kurama, even when he relied on his powers. Thus, he couldn't even rely on it until he managed to befriend it in the end. 2. He hurt all those around him. Naruto Uzumaki's Nine Tails power was a double-edged sword not just for him, but for his team as well. By the time of Naruto Shippuden, Naruto started losing control of his tailed beast power after the fourth tail emerged. When in this state, he couldn't distinguish friends from enemies, and because of that, he also hurt his friends, as seen when Sakura and even Jiraiya got injured while trying to deal with him. 1. He became a target of the Akatsuki. Since Naruto was a Jinchuriki, he became a target of an organization that hunted the tailed beasts. This organization, called the Akatsuki, managed to collect 7 of the 9 tailed beasts. With Naruto Uzumaki's 9 tails and Killer Bee's 8 tails being the only ones they failed to capture. Nonetheless, several attempts were made to steal the 9 tails from Kurama. And because of this, Naruto could never be at peace.